Hi, Sal Chatterbox. How you all doing? Today I'm joined by none other than former Liverpool, Republic of Ireland, front of FIFA 96. Yeah, what's going on?
How are you, mate? I've never been introduced that way before. FIFA 96.
You know, I had the game and I still got it. And I thought, you know what? That's an achievement in itself, isn't it? To be in front of FIFA, which is an incredible achievement in itself, But I want to talk to you today about the comments recently in regards to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the false position, Manchester United being top of the league. There you go. As I said, I'm a realist, and I could tell that we were very lucky these last few weeks to be top of the league. Fortune has favoured us a little bit. I just wanted to reiterate your stance on that in regards to being top of the league. United, where do you think they are right now as a team in regards to championship challenges?
Well, first of all, I think we should start with go right back to the beginning. Obviously, there's a history and a rivalry, obviously, between Liverpool and Manchester United. In some large parts, it's a healthy rivalry. It's a healthy, competition between the two. The two clubs are, arguably are up there with the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. They are the biggest clubs in the world. And the history and the legacy of both football clubs, precedes them. They've done amazing, over the last 50 years to achieve what they've done, to sustain it. The players that we've seen, the entertainment that we've watched, it's been phenomenal. And football has got this thing of, it does go round in circles. It's very difficult to dominate, more so, in modern day football, to dominate, like as Manchester United did in the 90s when I was playing. It was different then. Now it's not. I don't think it's sustainable to go and win the league, 8 times out of 10. I just don't think it works like that with the finances and the way football is. But the rivalry in most parts is extremely healthy, and the rivalry is good. It drives us on. Right, you need rivalry as a football club, as a football player, to drive you on to reach the levels that you do. And Liverpool and Manchester United have got them both themselves to thank, or each other to thank for that. My comment on Sky Sports, which obviously a lot of people seen, about Manchester United being in a false position. One was, was slightly in jest as a bit of a rivalry thing. It wasn't, malicious, or it wasn't meant with any kind of harm or disrespect to Manchester United. But when I say false, what I mean is, I think the world is in a false position at the minute. I don't think we're living a normal life. I think things are extremely difficult. And football, being very close to the club as an ambassador, I know the difficulties it is within the game, to sustain it, just getting an 11 on the pitch that, haven't got COVID or aren't injured. Finances are very tight at the minute. We're playing without fans. It's just not normal. It's just not normal. So in that respect, I think we've seen Manchester City struggle. I think we're seeing Tottenham in the minute as a bit of a blip. They were top of the table mid-December. Liverpool have gone through a blip. Arsenal, they're on the way back. They went through a blip. All the teams in the top 6, consistency has been very much lacking in any team's performance this season.
The crowd has a huge part to play in that as well. Because sometimes a crowd can get you over the line, especially at Anfield. Anfield,
absolutely.
It's like a 12th man with the fans at Anfield. You can tell that they're struggling a little bit, because the game against Barcelona last year, it was the year before, when you were 3-0 down, ended up winning 4-0. I felt that the fans got you through that game. It's intimidating as it is, to play in front of Anfield. To lose that, it's a bit of a blow to Liverpool, in a way that, he waited 30 years to win the league, and, to play, to get to this position as the champions after 30 odd years, and then no fans. It's a bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it, really? to be honest with you.
Absolutely. We've been finishing sixth, fifth, under various managers, and then we brought Jurgen Klopp in. It was a great appointment. Jurgen had a vision, a philosophy. He found the right players. His recruitment was brilliant, and we are where we are. A Europa League final, League Cup final, 2 Champions League finals, and like you said, we've won the league after 30 years. It's been phenomenal. Even going back to when Shankly built the club, Shankly's first idea was to embrace the fans. It was all about the fans. Feed off that, the anthem, the cop. We all push towards trying to create this success and to dominate. And the fans, the passion they bring and what they bring to a football match is unparamount. It's ridiculous what kind of energy they can provide. And Liverpool have got a strong relationship with their crowd, probably the strongest. You'd look at Leeds, Manchester United to an extent, but Liverpool, their relationship with the fans is ridiculously good. And we've had some good times, and like I said, we've had some bad times, but the fans have always stuck around and they've always showed their passion. And like you say, you go through history of Liverpool and you think where the fans have played their part. You look at Galatasaray, you go back to Saint Etienne, you go back to Liverpool, Newcastle, the 2 games I played in, phenomenal. And then you go more recently, you go Borussia Dortmund, then you go look at Barcelona, probably epitomises what it's about.
3-1 down or something after 70 minutes, yeah. But bringing it back to the Newcastle game, the 2-4-3s, you played in both of them, didn't you? The 2-4-3 game.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. They were both different. They were both different kind of games. Obviously, that brought the same result, 4-3, which was it was ridiculous, uncanny. But the first one was probably the better one. That's the one that's voted the best game on Sky. That's the one that went sort of 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, and then obviously Stan scored the winner right at the end. So the way both teams played. Say that again, mate. Sorry, I lost you there. I'm going to take these out because every time you speak, I lose you. So I'm going to take these out. I'm going to use. Bear with me 1 sec.
That's cool.
I'm gonna because I lose you every time you speak. Disconnect. Right, let's get back to you. There you go. You're back.
Yeah, that's perfect. No worries.
Yeah, that's better. So what did you say again?
Yeah, he actually helped us win the league that year. So
yeah, I think was that the year we were top at April.
I think so. I think Newcastle they had it in their hands, didn't they? They had to get the league.
Yeah, after then we were top at April, and you come to Anfield and you beat us, and then you ended up running away with the league. And that was April. We were top in April, and you came to Anfield, and beat us. But the 2 Newcastle games were phenomenal. The second one was different. The second one, in fact, a lot of people don't know this. The second one was a rearranged game. Because sadly, Princess Diana had died, and we were scheduled to play on that Sunday. And the news broke, and the game got rearranged, and we played midweek. But the thing was, Kenny and Kevin were managers at Newcastle each time they came. Both, played the Liverpool way, both very expansive, both had really attacking players. And the game, unlike the 96 Cup final, where everyone cancelled each other out, both teams, both sets of players, played at the highest level, and the game was a spectacle. So both games were. So yeah, they were really good occasions. But going back to the emotion of the crowd, that certainly plays a massive factor in what's happening this season. And then going back to the comments I made, because I just want to clear it up, is I didn't mean any disrespect as in they're in a false position. I just think it's anyone's league. I just think you look from 1st to 10th as we sit today. I mean, it's changed again from the weekend's results, but there's 14 points between 10th and 1st, I think. It's tighter than cramp at the top. Everybody's beating everybody. You've gone and dropped 5 points in the last 2 games to 2 teams you really beaten.
1 point out of 6 since then.
That's what I mean, mate. It's we've gone through, and everyone's going through a blip. So I just think, for anyone to think reaching the top of the table, there's been 9 different teams at the top of the table this season. 9 different teams. It's ridiculous to think that anyone is gonna
probably in the form City are in, and possibly Liverpool, they're the two teams that are equipped to stretch away. But I still don't think it'll happen. So, going back to what happened, what disappointed me, and getting more into it. I know we'll touch on other things later on, more light-hearted stuff, but just to go back to what was going on. Sort of the point of this podcast is the level of abuse that was labelled or thrown at me was absolutely disgusting, ridiculous, vile. I mean, I blocked 964 people in 964 people, and that was on the back of the club, speaking to the club. Just block people, friends, people in the media that I work for. They were all urging me to do this. It's the easiest way to do it, and in some ways, you do feel better because you feel like you have the power. And I'm up for a bit of banter. I'm up for a little bit of a joke here and there. I can take it. I don't mind interacting with people and fans from different clubs. But when you're getting, people saying, "I hope you die of AIDS," like they were criticising, they were disgusting about my wife, my career. Listen, I can take on the chin. It doesn't bother me. Anything that's aimed towards me is, it's just one of them things. Yeah. But when, it gets personal with your wife's involved, and just how people want you, people talk about that.
I think social media is a great thing, but I think too many of the wrong people are getting hold of it. I mean, there's these people hide behind fake profiles. You can't people these days either, because they'll just create another profile. They'll just create another Twitter account, and they'll just do the same thing, hiding behind a false picture. And I get the same thing. I mean, I'm nowhere near on the level of what you are, but I got it as well. I got the brunt of it.
After the back of what you said to me, and the reason I'm doing this podcast is, one, because of the sincerity of your message, and two, because I think it's important to put it out there. And you do seem to have a voice, and I just like the way you come across, and we ended up speaking, and here we are today. But it's I had someone pull my drive after the FA Cup win, United. Someone pulled up on my drive and sat there for 5 minutes. I had to call security that we've got to come and check it out. They'd gone by the time they got there. I had voice messages left on my phone, abusive voice messages, and people just like shouting things down the phone and hanging up and on withheld numbers and stuff. This went on for 2 days. It's just the level of abuse was just, and like you say, I'm nowhere near on the level of what's going on with the likes of Marcus Rashford now, who's getting racially abused, and, Reece James at Chelsea, and then you've got Dan Walker from the BBC getting absolutely abused. And like you say, it's got out of hand, but to monitor, social platforms these days is just ridiculously hard. And, well, it's virtually impossible. So I've no idea how it's going to stop. And in all honesty, I don't want to come off Twitter and I don't want to come off Instagram, because I enjoy interacting with my friends, other fans. It's a source of news for me. It's staying in touch with the world at these times that we're in. It's just really disappointing that people can stoop to this level of disgusting, vile.
The fact that you've been blocked. I mean, like creating a hashtag about it as well. It just, for me, it's pathetic. Man United have got bigger issues than being blocked on Twitter. And we're talking about, we're celebrating the fact. I don't know whether it's this sort of generation of United fans, but it's not the first time this has happened in regards to United and their millions of trolls on Twitter. I mean, I'm a big Man United fan. I was a season ticket holder for 17 years, and I went to Old Trafford from London every week, as well as going to Europe, but with Liverpool, my brother is a massive Liverpool fan. Yeah, my brother, and Sal Warner. And I don't hate Liverpool. I don't hate Liverpool players. I respect them. I respect them. I look at Klopp, I see Alex Ferguson, the way you play football. The way you're going over the line, the way attacking football, relentless pressing football, So my opinion was that I'm speaking from honesty, from, let's be realistic, calm down. We're top of the league, yeah, but we've been lucky. We've had games against Brighton, for example, when they cashed out on the bets because the game was over, but they brought it back for a penalty and we won the game. We've been lucky, let's face it, you know. But when you talk about football, keep it football. That's all I care about. Keep it football. Talk about your opinions, fine. Yeah, you can have your opinion. But the same with me. I mean, I've had people come into my workplace and blah, 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 you know. And what I saw, because I saw it on my timeline, what they were saying to you and the ridiculous comments, the horrible comments I saw, I thought, that's it. You know, it's ridiculous. You know, I need to speak up because you made a valid point. Bottom line, you know, it was a valid point. We're in a false position, and it's proven this last week that we were in a false position. I don't think Ole's the right man. I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Honestly, as a player, I love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he won us a Champions League for goodness sake. Yeah. So, but I don't think we are going to win anything this season and in the near future, because I just don't think we got the mentality. We ain't got the managers, the coaches. I just don't think so. Seeing the way Alex Ferguson used to play, set up his teams, I just don't think so. But I was embarrassed when I saw the comments. These so-called United fans, they're not United fans. I was embarrassed. I've been to a number of Liverpool United games, including the 96 final when I was a kid. And I've always had good chat with Liverpool fans. I've always enjoyed the chat with Liverpool fans. I've sat there at Manchester Piccadilly talking for 3 hours with a Liverpool fan back in the day, you know, about football, just about football in general, about the history of football. So when they're bringing up hatred against people's family, my family, your family, you know, threatening to do this, threatening to do that, it just takes it into a new realm. And I feel like these people need to stop, whether Twitter can do some kind of ID.
You're back.
Yeah,
you're back.
Yeah, I can't see you at the moment. There you are. Yeah, whether Twitter can do some kind of ID check or something when playing. Yeah, and I don't know, maybe passport, you know, name, address. You know, you have to use your real photo. I don't know what can be done about it, to be honest with you. I don't want them, you know, because the more this happens, the more likely they're going to take away this social media and stuff, and it's going to be.
I mean, you do worry where it's going to go, because you know it's at what cost, isn't it? You know, it's at no cost. You know, if it's going to carry on, you're right. You know, when we're delving into them realms, you know, and like you say, threatening behaviour, and you know, other people, family are being brought into it, kids and wives and stuff. It's you know, it gets beyond the banter, then it becomes very dangerous. You know, and something has to be done about it. You know, the tribalness and the rivalry between the two clubs in general is healthy. You know, we're speaking about a minority, and you know, it's this minority that needs to be sorted out. It just has to stop. I mean, you know, I don't hate Manchester United, you know, and I'm paid to give an opinion on a football related matter as we stand in current times, and that's what my opinion is. You know, that's why we love the game so much, because everybody's got a different opinion. My opinion and your opinion can be completely different, but it could be healthy. We can have a healthy debate about it. We can sit and talk for hours about it, and I can put my points across, you can put your points across. We still might never get on the same page.
No.
The other thing as well is, listen, we're in extremely difficult times at the minute. It's like, you know, I don't know what number lockdown it is. It doesn't seem to be an end in sight currently at the minute. Football is the one thing that's actually keeping us going.
Yeah. Exactly.
We need to look at each other in these times. You know, we turn on the telly and it's, you know, we've got something to you know, maybe a release to watch the telly and have a bit of banter. But that release has got to be, you know, judged at a certain level. It can't go into, like you say, the realms of, you know, abusive, vile, disgusting, racial, you know, whatever you want to, you know, whichever way it's going, it can't go down them roads, because it's just wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, and it's so easy to do as well. Anyone could be on Twitter and just write whatever they like, and that's the thing. I mean, they don't care about the repercussions of what's, you know, what they're saying. You know, I mean, last year I had a number of United fans going to my management, emailing my manager, called in my workplace. Yeah. You know, so
opinion. You know, it's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Well, you obviously you're an ex-Liverpool player. I mean, people don't taking it to a hateful level in regards to, because you're a former Liverpool player, you know, you can't say that. You can't say that just because you're an ex-Liverpool player. You can't make your opinion about Man United. I can make my opinion about Liverpool. I could, you know, I have a number of friends who are Liverpool fans. I make my opinion, and you know, they don't have to agree with it, but we don't bring it to a personal level, face to face, do we? You know, it's
exactly
at the end of the day, you know. But on Twitter, they feel like they can, you know, they can say anything, and it's true because you can report whatever. My brother's been in the music industry for 20 years. And the amount of abuse he's had online, the amount of times we've reported these accounts and they've never, ever, you know, deleted these accounts or done anything about it, you know, and that's the thing. That's the thing with it. It's only recently they've started, you know, acting upon it because obviously, you know, social media, mental health as well. As a
great point, mate. It's a great point. I mean, you're talking about your brother, and no disrespect to your brother. Not a lot of people would know your brother, but you know, Caroline Flack, for instance, you know, has very sadly took her life because of the pressure that she got from, you know, getting trolled on social media about her career and about her appearance and stuff, and it just got too much. You know, that's just the one person we hear about who's extremely high profile, but there's so many other people like your brother, you know, who day to day are just getting abused and end up like with mental health problems because of what's happening from the abuse of social media platforms. And, you know, we don't get to hear it before maybe it's too late, or we just don't get to hear about it. But there is millions of people out there who are, you know, under this blanket of, you know, depression and, you know, mental health problems because of, you know, the pressures of abuse. And yeah, you could turn around and go, you can come off it, but it's just not as easy as that sometimes, you know. It's just not. And why should they?
They win though, don't they? If you go off, if you like celebrating being blocked, you know, they win in their eyes. They've won, and that's wrong to me, in my opinion. You know, and this going on today. I'm still getting messages today, tweet after tweet after tweet after, responding to each other. I mean, it's crazy. You know what I mean? So
it's just ridiculous. So you know, going straight back to that, you know, back to that point, I was merely just giving my opinion, you know, on Sky and just how I felt at the time. You know, I kind of tried to back it up with, you know, the situation of, you know, going away from home and being beaten, you know, obviously by Leipzig and Paris Saint-Germain. It's just, you know, and again, from a football perspective, I don't think United have actually, you know, built that resilience and that mentality to cope with being top of the table and run away with it. And that's why I feel it was a false position. And that's not me saying it's never going to happen. That's not me saying in the future I don't see Man United challenging City and Liverpool. I actually think Manchester United in some ways are on the right path to doing that. I think they you know, after this pandemic sorted out, the resources will go back to normal, and, you know, they'll be able to bring in players that they want to. And, you know, I agree with you. I personally, you know, and I like Ole personally, and I like him, you know, from playing against him. And I like Ole, you know, when I bump into him, he's a great fella. Got nothing against Ole, but I still don't feel he's the right fit for Manchester United. You know, I just don't think he's the right one to take them in the direction that they want to, which is winning Premier Leagues.
Got a bit of a bottler. I mean, I look at his team selections and they seem more intent on not losing than winning games. I feel like he's happy because we drew with Man City 0-0. We drew with Arsenal recently 0-0. You know, it was at Liverpool, which we drew against as well. You know, do you think that he's got too much of a, I won't call him a bottler, but he's a bit cautious, too cautious in his tactics, and he seems to be more intent on not losing than winning, I feel. And
mate, do you know what? I use this line, you know, in punditry sometimes. You know, they set up not to lose, and you know, loads of people give you criticism over it. Like, what does that mean? But I know exactly what you mean. It's like, I think we had a spell when Rafa was coming towards the end of his management career at Liverpool, where he actually set us up not to lose. It wasn't to go out and win. It was basically not to lose.
Really?
So, yeah, and I think that cost Rafa in the end. But I agree with you. And I think sometimes, you know, because of the size of the job, because of the nature of the job, maybe his age as well, his little bit of inexperience at that level, you know, there is an element of Ole setting up not to lose. You know, you've got some unbelievably talented players. Greenwood, Rashford, you know, Martial at the top of his game, you know, is a threat. Pogba, Fernandes, I still think you're struggling centre half. I think you need to bring someone in to go alongside Maguire. I'm not sure Maguire's, has found the right partnership yet.
There's a thing going around in the United fan base that Ole is showing too much favouritism towards some players in regards to McTominay, Lindelof. Regardless of how well they're playing, Martial hasn't played well for a while now. And he carries on playing them. Van der Beek has been sitting on the bench. You've got a Dutch international who, has played Real Madrid in the Champions League and dominated the midfield, and he's sitting on the bench. And people, United fans, are questioning him in regards to that, in regards to favouritism. Do you think favouritism is going on?
It's difficult to say. I think you stick with what you trust. I think Ole's found a way of Man United being successful, of playing. I mean, Man United on the break, it seems to be the way that he wants to play, isn't it? It seems to be that's bringing you success, and you're very, very good at it. You've got lots of pace. You've got creative players in that area with Fernandes who can open things up, get him on the ball in between the lines, and he'll hurt you. Pogba, you seem to have calmed him down, and he's starting to respond to playing in the team and sort of taking on the leadership role as which he should. He seems to have quieted down on social and stuff. So yeah, it seems to be going okay. But I think when you find a way of playing, a system, I think you do stick with the players you trust to play in them positions. I mean, you thought Fred and McTominay would be his first choice midfield.
They call it McFred in the United fan base, McFred.
But he's doing a job. He's not there. He's not there to go and score goals and to be creative and open things up. He's there to intercept, to tackle, to press. His energy, is good, and he's very good at that. And he sort of complements McTominay really well. I like McTominay. I think he's growing into the role. I think he's growing into playing in the team, and he's showing good signs. McTominay in there for a long time. You throw Fernandes in there, and the three of them, the little triangle you've got going is fantastic. And then you've got Rashford or Pogba left or right. I'd still think. I think you're right, Martial and Cavani. I think you're going to have them as a focal point. I think you need someone stronger. I think you need a 20-goal-a-season player.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said, yeah. 40, even 30-goal-a-season player. We haven't had that for a while.
No, and you've always had it, haven't you? And
yeah,
it's been really difficult for Man United since Alex left. What he created was, like I said at the very beginning of this chat, I can't ever see that happening again. There's got to be an acceptance to that. You've had it too good. That's basically how you've had it.
I'm a lucky guy. I mean, I witnessed all of it. I mean, but
I played in all of it. It weren't good.
I know. I don't know. But to be honest with you, with Liverpool from the 90s, Liverpool always had a very good side. Yeah. It was just, I don't know what it was, whether it was just, getting... It was something, I don't know what it was, but Liverpool always had a very good side. I mean, during the 90s, when I remember Liverpool, even Patrick Berger days, Robbie Fowler... Yeah. Of course, you had McManaman, great players there. I mean, McManaman went on to win a couple of European Cups with Real Madrid, You had great players there. And I just don't know what it was you were missing. In your opinion, what was missing in...
I think winning the league, you seem to... There becomes a belief, that you have the players to do it, so you believe in it. When you're chasing the league, there's always that question mark, isn't it? Have we got the right players? Have we got the right mentality? Game management at certain times. You look back because we didn't, and it's very difficult sometimes, like you said, to put your finger on exactly what it is. I think for me, I think there were certain games where we could have managed it better. I think Man United always had the edge on us when it came to game management because of Alex's mentality, because of maybe some of the players that you had, the likes of Keane. You'd had a spell with Bruce and Pallister, and Robson right at the beginning was there. Yeah. And I think the younger players, the class of '92, they learned about game management early on, where we were a very young team, like United. Both managers, Alex and Roy Evans, Alex kind of fell upon 5 or 6 players coming from the academy, coming through the youth team, the reserve. But Roy kind of put his together. We had to bring them in from other clubs. So where I speak about game management is we could be, 1-0 up, 15 minutes to go, and we'd go and try and get the second, or, try and just stay expansive and just try and attack teams rather than shut up shop, rather than play, maybe deeper, a bit more of a low block and try and keep teams out for the last 10 or 15 minutes. We'd go out and try and enjoy ourselves because it was the only way we knew. Where Man United, you'd win a scruffy 1-0, wouldn't you? And
FA Cup 96, I mean, that could have went either way, let's be honest. That could have
Man United in the 90s.
And 1-0, and then it could have been all different. Liverpool could have won that. You had a couple of chances in that game.
Exactly, mate, yeah. Fine margins, like you said, we had a couple of chances in the game. It could have been different. You went on and done the double, and I just think it creates a mentality where when you win, you know how to do it, and then it's all about dominating, and then it's hunger, desire. But you've got the pieces, to go on and do it because you trust it because you've already done it. So in some ways, winning the first one's more difficult, but statistics will tell you it's the second. So at the minute in this modern day game, anyway. So it was just a couple of things, but Man United, had the knowledge to do it.
Exactly, and it's that winning mentality, isn't it? You once you've done it once, it's like Manchester City. Once they won it, it's just again and again. I wanted to ask you briefly about Roy Keane.
Yeah.
What was he like as a person? I mean, you played with him in the '94 World Cup and obviously in the 2002 World Cup. What was the difference in Roy Keane from '94 to 2002? Was he always the same person? Was he?
No, he probably had less of an opinion and was less vocal in '94. We were younger then, and we were young lads trying to make our way in the game. And we got this unbelievable opportunity to go to America and play in the World Cup, and it was a great platform for the pair of us. He was probably slightly ahead of me, in terms of development and where he was in his career. I was at Bolton. I think he'd just gone to United. I think.
Yeah, he went in about 1993, didn't he? He played in.
He just got there, but it was certainly the platform for the pair of us to go on and have the careers we did. For him. It was his environment. He thrived off it. He learnt a lot, as I did. I got a move to Liverpool off the back of it. He went on and, dominated English football as arguably the best midfielder of his kind of generation at what he did. The rivalry was there between us when I got to Liverpool. There was some tough times between us. We didn't always get on. We didn't always mix. I was sort of with Phil Babb and Gary Kelly, John Aldridge, Ronnie. They were kind of my lads I knocked around with. Roy was a little bit more insular. He was a bit more of a loner. He'd kind of go home to see his family down in Cork and then meet back up with the squad sometimes. Sometimes he'd come in late. But you could see him grow as a player from '94 into the player he was. And I always used to wonder what all the hype was about. And I remember playing centre midfield in a game with him, and instantly you just understood how good it was. You'd lose the ball, he'd win it back. The demands he put on players as he got older and more experienced, them demands then became. He felt comfortable giving out orders and comfortable, being the leader that he always wanted to be. And his demands were, 110%. You couldn't drop off. He would tell you on the.
It's the type of player we're missing now, and that's why I doubt this team a little bit, because we do lack leaders. I mean, we've always had leaders back in over the years, and that's why I don't think when you're going for a title, you need leaders. Even Liverpool, you got Henderson, you got people who can push the team forward. I don't think we've got that. I think we're missing that right now. A Roy Keane figure who can just.
Massive, mate. You're 100% right. I mean, I'm critical of Man United for not having leaders in the team. Even Maguire. You don't see him as vocal and as dominant as he. McTominay. Do you know what? I think McTominay. I see McTominay as Keane '94. I see him. Like that. And I think when Henderson, when he took over from Gerrard, was very much like that. They've got to grow into it. It's kind of like they earn the respect by the success that the club brings. You look at Henderson now, he's probably the best leader in the Premier League. And on top of that, you've got Milner. And when the three of them are in the team, which was recently, you can see the drop-off level of performance or, attitude sometimes. We've had them back. Milner played against you at an improved performance. He played against Tottenham. He played against West Ham last night. And look what's happened. We've won the last 2 games. Henderson's back. We've had Henderson back last night. We go and win the game. So, yeah, massive. And I think, that's something that Man United do lack. You're right. There is people say, oh, there isn't that place for that Roy Keane kind of leader, Vieira kind of leader, Gerrard. There is. It's just how you communicate in the dressing room. Gone are the days of throwing cups of tea and, Lucas balls at each other.
Yeah.
But you do need them leaders who are vocal on the pitch. You do. When it's tough, they're the ones who tell you to roll your sleeves up. They're the ones who are encouraging. They're the ones who are communicating on the pitch because it's difficult for the manager. You do need them. And Man United, I think you do lack them. You do lack leadership.
I mean, obviously that comes from the management as well. I was openly critical against Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in regards to the Leipzig game because we played 7 defensive players. For me, that's not Manchester United. We needed a draw. I know we needed a draw, but you don't do that going there with 7 defensive players like an FA Cup tie, like an underdog in an FA Cup tie, trying to get a point. You go there, attack the game. We're obviously better than Leipzig. Got better players than Leipzig. They had a few players out, in my opinion. I just don't feel like we have the the guts, the drive, the leadership, what we used to have. Like you score 3, we'll score 4 sort of thing. We used to be. It weren't.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that comes with a bit of fear factor as well, doesn't it? That you create as a successful team. I mean, City and Liverpool over the last 18 months, people have literally feared playing them, haven't they? I feel sometimes teams were coming to Anfield. We'd already won the game before we kicked off. Barcelona was a great example of what you brought up before. I was in the tunnel when Barcelona walked in. They'd come in from off the bus, the crowd, the noise, the colour, the atmosphere. It intimidated some of the best players in the world. Mate, they come drunk like that. And when they run out on the pitch, I remember, I think it was Fabinho tackled, might have been Busquets very early on in the game and got booked. He smashed him. And it just set the tone. Crowd went up. And they shrunk, and Liverpool ended up winning the game. But yeah, I mean, sometimes, we got done 7-2 against Villa. And sometimes tactically it's not going to work out, but it doesn't mean you don't believe in what you're doing.
And it
doesn't mean all you go to a back 3 and go really defend. We stuck at it, and you find your feet and you go on a run, which we did. Sometimes you need a little 7-2 batter into, just to bring you back down. It doesn't.
Can you hear me?
Back.
You cut off.
Back.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
I agree. You do need that battering, that 6-2-7. I remember Alex Ferguson losing 6-3 to Southampton, 5-0 against Newcastle. In the same within a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Sometimes the losses, they're better than the wins in a way that they teach you. In regards to, especially when I was growing up supporting United, sometimes our losses were our biggest achievement, not achievement, but our biggest incentive to go. You know what I mean?
Sometimes more about your team and yourself going through adversity. It is, it's character building. We lost. Listen, we ain't this team we are today. We wouldn't be that team we are today if we hadn't lost the League Cup final, if we hadn't lost in Switzerland against Sevilla, if we hadn't lost against Real Madrid in the Champions League. They're all part of the learning curve in elite sport to find out who you are and to, sample defeat. It's a horrible, horrible thing in elite sport. It's something, but you've got to harness it and take it in as something that you never want to feel again. Yeah. So you do everything you can not to feel like that, and that's what brings success. It's all part of the learning curve, mate.
It is adversity to the stars, as I say.
Yeah.
That's what you do. Hopefully this United team can learn from that. Bringing it back to
not from mine.
Yeah. Well, bring it back to, in regards to you. What was the best player you played against? Who was the best player you played against?
Mate, I was very privileged to play, international football, which obviously then pits you against the best players in the world, doesn't it? So, we had, you look at that Italy team, Maldini,
mentioned that.
Baggio, I played against Brazil, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Roberto Carlos. I played against up on the right. I was playing on the right, on the left. Probably the best player I played against, it was probably in that game actually, was Kaká. Mate, he was ridiculous. He was so good. I played against AC Milan and the legends, not last year, the year before, but yeah, it's that long ago. He played, and he still glides.
Against United a few years ago, 3-2, we won. I was at that game, and it's like takes everything. He's just silky smooth. It's like just he'll do nothing for the whole game, then boom, goal.
Yeah,
boom, goal.
Mate, he's so fit. His attitude, he plays with a smile on his face.
Yeah,
so he was good. Ronaldo was brilliant. Megged me in the middle of the park, left a little cheeky grin. Played against Andreas Bremer, Germany, the German side. Lothar Matthäus played. Mate, I just played against some of the best in the world. But yeah, I'd probably say Kaká was the best I played against.
Right, fantastic. I best end it here because it's been fortunately it's been great chatting to you, Jason. What I would say is just stay on social media. Don't leave social media. Don't let these trolls win.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll do something about it. They'll get some sort of ID checks and stuff like that because they keep.
Hopefully, mate.
I mean, they keep making new accounts. They're carrying on. I just let them go. I just let them talk, and I feel like, hopefully in the future it'll get better, and these so-called United fans will be wiped out of social media completely. Because I call them top reds. We call them top reds. I don't know what Liverpool call your fans who've been there for years. I don't want to sound too offensive, but fans who've been there for years and years and years.
Yeah.
Really big opinion. Oh, back in my day, it used to be like this. You shouldn't do that. You should know the rivalry between us. You shouldn't do that. We hate our rivals. Blah blah blah. Top reds is what I call them. We call them top reds, and there's plenty of them in our fan base. There
is. There's no disrespect. We have rivalry with Everton and obviously Manchester United as well. It's the success that created the rivalry and the tribalism. It does go with the game. It does go, with the nature of who we are as fans. It is very tribal, but it shouldn't come at a cost. At the end of the day, we're all fighting to do the right thing, and we're driving each other on. At the end of the day, if it wasn't for rivalry, we wouldn't reach the top. And we've got Man United to thank for that. We've got City. We've got a lot of teams in the Premier League have done their part for us, being who we are. But we need to look after each other at the end of the day. And there's no room for racism, vile abuse. Health is very prevalent, as you rightly brought up in this conversation. And we need to look after each other. And if we can do that, through various platforms of social media, then we should do it more often, because it's hard enough at the minute.
It's things like football, as you said earlier, that unify people. It's meant to unify us in this time when unprecedented. We haven't. None of us have witnessed anything like this ever. So being more cautious, caring about each other more, and trying to look after each other and watch what we say on social media as well. So,
absolutely,
you're going to get people who don't care. They're just, they're there to do that. They're there to just be a troll. That's what they're there for. And unfortunately, that will never change. But, I want to thank you for giving me the time. I mean, it's been a pleasure talking to you.
And you, mate. I mean,
yeah. We'll up soon and stuff, yeah?
Yeah, well, take care of yourself. Not too much good luck. I hope you actually get relegated.
We'll probably lose another couple of semi-finals, mate, but we'll be all right,
We'll see what May brings, mate. But listen, take care of yourself, and thanks very much for the opportunity. Take care, mate.
Thank you very much. Take care of yourself.
Take care.